Steven is conflicted by his own hypocrisy. How does someone come and tell us what to do with our platforms and how to behave, how to speak, what to say and what not to say? But this same guy actually went to Calabar the other day to shoot a video about how bad Calabar is smelling and how bad it looks and nobody's going to the Calabar Carnival anymore. The same Steven Ndukwu guy. Can you believe that? This is irritating to say the least. Come on. Now, let me read what exactly he says that he posted just a day ago. I just want to read verbatim so I wouldn't miss anything. This is crazy. The area I stayed in, Maryland, America, it rained heavily last night and in 30 seconds the electricity went off. There was no light for 5 hours. But guess what? I never saw it on the news, not on the social media, nowhere. But if it is Nigeria, Nigerians will publish it on the internet, the news channels will carry it, and some people will even run sponsored ads on it so it trends. It seems like everyone is in a rush to be the first to post bad news and trust social media to make the post trend. There are bad and negative things happening in advanced countries around the world. Most of it you would not see online. The first way to fix Nigeria is to fix the things that goes on the media. I'm startled at what this guy just wrote. I'm really startled. Steven did not tell you in that tweet that America actually generates over 1.1 million megawatts of electricity. He did not tell you that America is a population of over around 340 million people with over 1.1 million megawatts of electricity. That electricity is not the major problem of America because they have it in abundance. And the only reason why Maryland went off is because of the heavy rain. It's not because, anything specific happened, but because of the heavy rains. And of course, you know how rains can be. In Nigeria, in contrast, rain doesn't have to fall. Sun doesn't even have to shine. In fact, baby doesn't have to cry. People doesn't have to actually do anything, but the power goes off unhindered. Steven did not also tell you that Maryland electricity distribution companies actually sent emails to the houses and companies located in those areas that power is going to go off, and they apologize for that happening because of the fact that the heavy rains were coming. He wouldn't tell you that, but he would be quick to vilify, to castigate, and to talk down on media organizations or media personalities who would try to highlight the ills of the society. Now, in contrast, I gave you the statistics of America's production generation of electricity versus their population. We're a country of around 230 million people, and we have hovering around 5,000, at the very best, 6,000 megawatt of electricity. Make that make sense. South Africa is around 60 million people, and they are producing more than 60,000 megawatts of electricity. So why would anybody be excited about the electricity situation of this country? And then you go on and say, oh, the only way to fix Nigeria is to first of all fix what goes to the media. Now, I'm trying to point to something. That Maryland's power went off does not mean that it will not be restored at a certain time that has been allotted, that has been communicated. Does anyone communicate to you in Nigeria when power goes off? Does anyone communicate to you when power is going to be restored? Does anyone communicate to you how much power you even consume and how much you are even paying for your power and how it is even calculated? Do you even know how power is calculated? Including people who even use meter. Do you know that these people still steal from you daily? I mean, I'm still in shock that Steven would express himself in the manner so condescending and so ill-cultured and ill-mannered. And I'm shocked that somebody who has traveled that far would be having this kind of mindset. I'm stunned. So if somebody like this would have this kind of mindset, imagine what happens to him when he gets into power, when he gets into politics. These are the kinds of people who will identify with the poor when they don't have power, when they don't have positions. But when they leave that stench, when they leave poverty and maybe get into power or get into position, they start trampling on poor people, and they start telling other stories and telling false narratives, false stories, just like the government of today is telling us false stories that things are getting better in this country. What aspect of life in Nigeria is getting better? I want to know, is there anything that anybody can tell me this day that can say, you know what, is getting better? Tell me, what is that one thing I can say, oh, you know what, this is getting better? Is it the health sector? Is it the security sector? Is it the jobs? What exactly is getting better in Nigeria? That anybody can come and start trying to, gaslight anybody who is trying to put to the fore what is really happening. The other day they said that Peter Obi is demarketing the country. These are the kinds of people who would also say that Peter Obi is demarketing Nigeria. What has Peter Obi said in the last 2 years that is false, that is not backed by facts? What is that thing? Are things getting better in this country? Are people not multidimensionally poor? We're a country of 230 million and 133 million people are multidimensionally poor. For crying out loud. So what is that thing? What is that thing that is so special about this country, that is so wonderful about this country, that somebody can defend or try to gaslight another person, to choke people to stop talking about? So it's terrible. It's terrible, really. I'm stunned at Steven Ndukwu's comments that comparing Nigeria and America, that we should stop talking, that we shouldn't be telling the world what we're facing as a country. We shouldn't be telling our own stories. By the way, speaking of this guy, do you know he himself went to Calabar recently as 2024 December? I mean, to tell you how conflicted he is, Steven is conflicted by his own hypocrisy. How does someone come and tell us what to do with our platforms and how to behave, how to speak, what to say and what not to say? But this same guy actually went to Calabar the other day to shoot a video about how bad Calabar is smelling and how bad it looks, and nobody's going to the Calabar Carnival anymore. The same Steven Ndukwu guy. Can you believe that? This is irritating, to say the least. Come on.
Poor leadership and corruption has eaten up the future and wealth of the state. The greenery is fast disappearing into heaps of litter.
So if you drive on the streets of Calabar, oh shit, this thing smells like fuck.
The streets are pitch black at night and filthy during the day. Nigeria's tourism capital has fallen. The city now looks like paradise lost. I visited to find out what really happened.
This guy went to Calabar the other day, and as early as December last year, and he highlighted the ills, why people have stopped going to Calabar, Obudu Ranch, and stopped talking about Tinapa. And most people now are no longer talking about the Calabar Carnival, the Calabar festival that happens every December. Everybody's, they don't talk about it anymore. He highlighted the fact that the place is smelly. Nobody goes there anymore. So, on what basis is Steven Ndukwu telling anyone, if it is not trying to play to the gallery? On what basis is he trying to tell anyone to stop talking about their country, to stop talking about what the ills that they're facing in the country? If you don't say those things, how would the government know you have been conflicted and faced by these issues? If you don't speak about those things, how else are you going to talk about how you feel about your country and how things should actually get better by the day? If you don't talk about this and highlight those issues, how then would you do that? and then you did yours. Nobody should do, but you, because you have some platform, and then you are okay to have highlighted what happened in Calabar, but people should not be telling Nigerian stories in a bad light just because. Steven, you don't buy me data, man. I do whatever I want to do with my data, man. So face your front and be careful what you say, and don't tell people what to do with their datas and with their platforms. You've got your platform. Please sell Nigeria properly and using your platform, okay? That would do for now. Cheers.